So the steering on the car, it's not an issue for me anyway. I mean, you hear a lot of stories now about the newer cars, the electric power steering, how they don't give as much feel. Yeah, I'd say that's definitely the case. But really, the steering is not an issue at all. I don't feel I'm losing that much from, you know, from an older hydraulic system, if you like. So for me, it's not an issue. Whatever they put on the car, the steering is good. I feel like I know how much grip there is. Maybe that's an illusion. Maybe they're leading me into a false sense of security. But I do feel that the steering is honest, and it's not something that, you know, stands out in the car where it might do on other modern cars, for example Opels and maybe Volkswagen, Audi Group also. Power of the car, it's sufficient. It's not super fast, but I wouldn't say it's underpowered. It's sufficient. It's more than enough to get up to 160, 180 kilometers an hour, a zero problem. It's got good torque load down. I wouldn't say it's got much above sort of 4.5, 5,000 RPM, but the engine is decent. Like I said, it's not going to set your house on fire, but it's going to get you down the road. Seats, the seats are great. To be honest, I haven't really tried them yet for a long distance, but initial impressions, there's a little bit of adjustment, not too much. There's a decent amount of side supports, but they're easy to get in and out of, so seats not an issue. I give the seats like an 8 out of 10 for a daily driver car, daily driver seats. The nav system, yeah, it works all right, gets you to where you want to go. You just put in the addresses. It's a nav system. It's not spectacular, it's not bad, it does the job. One thing that stands out to me is the size of the mirrors on the car. They're absolutely huge. So while you get a good view laterally, because they also put a little bend on the edge of the mirrors, which I think is fantastic. Because the mirrors are so big, the height of the mirror, which is noticeably bigger than any other car I've driven, the height of the mirror gives you the opportunity to have the mirrors pointing down slightly, so you can also see the curb, a little bit of the curb at the same time as seeing behind you. The gear change is good. It's not a mechanical feel, definitely a plastic feel, but the throw is relatively short and it goes through the gears quite easy. So I would say the only issue is going into sixth. You just need to put a little bit of extra effort to keep the gear stick to the right when you come back for sixth. Visibility is generally good in the car, considering the size of it, but there's good visibility all around. Like I said, mirrors are great, windows are fantastic. The bonnet is huge on it and it goes a long way in front of you. It needs the parking sensors, and it's got them. It's got front and rear parking sensors, and it's also got sensors on the side. You need it on this car, in my opinion, because you really can't tell where the front corners are on it. So no worries there, don't be afraid of the size of the car. The lane assist feature, basically when you go over a white line, the steering wheel vibrates. What I found is sometimes it will vibrate, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it will vibrate when you're indicating, sometimes it won't vibrate when you're indicating. Also lane aid, it's called, which will actually turn the steering wheel. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Basically the lane assist thing is a bit of a nightmare, very inconsistent, so you can't rely on it, which makes it a complete waste of time. I mean, the dash is nice, but I would say it's a bit slabby in the center. I wish they would have done a bit more with the center console, to be honest with you. It's a bit plain. It doesn't really seem to step forward, like contours wise and shape wise of the dash. The dash in front with the dials on it, it's very good, very clear. It's got a lot of information in there, a lot of menus to go through, so that's great. You've also got direct buttons to control the air conditioning, heating, radio, tuning, CD, without having to go into the menu itself, without having to go through the big screen, if you like, the touch screen. So that's great. Yeah, got no problems with the ergonomics, if you like. It's just a bit slab-sided, this center console here. The doors, they're great, huge amount of space to the doors. I suppose this is going to be for accident crash testing. You're a long way away from the outside of the car, relatively speaking, for a car. Plenty of storage in the doors. You've got cup holders here. You've got a big cubby hole between the seats. Basically, it's a very spacious car inside. Incredibly spacious car inside. Yeah, the brakes are good. What can you say about brakes? You feel like you can modulate them up to the limit, which is all you can ask for, really. And I don't think in normal driving, I don't think you're going to be fading these brakes on a track. I don't know. I'm not going to take this car on track because, in my opinion, this is not where this car is going to be used. Cornering is excellent on this car. I mean, like I said, the steering is very good. Gives fills you with confidence. I don't see. It's just a very nice car to drive, to be honest, on a country road like this. I mean, you do feel involved with the process. In some cars, you can feel like you're sort of sitting on a couch, flying through the countryside. But not in this car. You know, you do feel part of the process. You don't feel detached from the experience, and that is the main thing. It's added the new school tech without losing, you know, your involvement, which is a lot of car companies, I think, are screwing that up. The ride on the car, it's very compliant, very compliant. Granted, I'm only driving it on very smooth roads. But it's not a magic carpet by any stretch of the imagination, but it's completely acceptable. I have no complaints with it at all. And then when you're pushing on, you know, the body roll is extremely well controlled. There is a little body roll there, but that just lets you know that you're pushing on. It's really got the best of everything. For a day-to-day driver, you can't really ask for more. It's got good compliancy, and it's good body control. So it's great, basically. I can't really fault it for a daily driver, honestly. Generally speaking, it's a very stable platform, which is great. To give you an idea of the size of this car, if you park it next to an E93 series, this car absolutely dwarfs it. And cabin noise at speed, it's great, it's very quiet. You can hear me talking here. By no means am I going especially quickly at the moment, but it is extremely quiet. You can hear the engine. Maybe it could be a bit more vocal, but I don't feel that I'm having to speak up over the car. I think it's it's acceptable. It's just a very nice place to be. Dual zone climate control. I suppose all the new cars have got this sort of gadgetry on it now. It works fine. The pedals, they're great. I don't really notice anything specifically offensive about them. The throttle position, throttle movement is natural. The brakes are not grabby. They're very progressive. On some newer cars, you can find they're very grabby at the top of the travel. On this, no, I think it's pretty consistent all the way through the pedal. The clutch, it's fine, very easy to judge, and it doesn't feel like it's slipping, and it's not too harsh. It's basically perfect. Electronic handbrake. I've only tried one car with electronic handbrake before. That was the Seat Leon, the new one, the 5F. Oh no, sorry, Volkswagen Golf Mark 7 that was, or Mark 7.5, whatever it was. I didn't like it at all. But in this car, I find it's completely natural, the electronic handbrake. You only need to apply the handbrake when you park up, and the rest of the time you don't need to worry about it. If you come to a stop, it's got auto hill assist, so you don't need to worry about rolling back. And when you want to pull away, the handbrake automatically disengages. So it's a great system. Far better than what I've experienced before. Up until now, I've been a big negative for electronic handbrakes, but this Ford, they really got it down. It's just a very intuitive system, and it's great. It's as good as a cable handbrake. So on the whole, I think this Ford Mondeo is just a very, very competent car. You can tell that the guys and the girls that have put this car together have just done an excellent job. Personally, I am ultra critical of cars. If you've seen other videos that I've done, I suppose the Corsa one, was the least popular review I've ever done. But this car, it's just a very competent package. There's nothing that stands out. There's nothing that, I don't have a problem with anything. Everything is cohesive. This is the word that I'm looking for, cohesive. Everything matches everything else. There isn't like one specific thing that stands out above the others. Like dynamics, the responses, the surfaces. It's just very, very, very professional job, and I congratulate Ford on this car. So who is going to buy this car, or who do I recommend buys this car? Basically anybody that needs a lot of space in their car. So you've easily got room for 3 adults in the back, 2 adults in the front. You've got a load of space in the boot. Well, let me just say this. There's nothing to disrecommend this car. It's comfortable, it's competent, it's nice to drive, it's got all the tech. There's nothing bad about the car, basically. Obviously, I can't tell you what it's going to be like in the long run with reliability. But in my very short time of having this car, there's nothing in it that offends me at all. And like I said, it's a very, very competent car. If you just want to mooch around town, just go from A to B in the most relaxed way possible, this car will do it. If you're on country roads and you want a bit of involvement, this car can do it also. It's a great package. Would I buy this car with my own money? Honestly, no. And it's just because of the looks of it. I don't like the looks. I don't think it is a beautiful car. It doesn't sort of have a road presence. It's a bit wishy-washy, doesn't want to offend anybody, but then again it doesn't really please anybody, so it's not really a very standout design, which I think is a shame. If it was more better looking, then I think they'd sell multiple more of the car. I think the rear is definitely better than the front, but I think the front is just a bit big and chromy. It's completely unnecessary. Put some more design into it, look towards like BMW M, Audi RS, give it that more premium, aggressive look to it. But I suppose they want to shy away from that because they don't want to put people off. But I think Audi and BMW don't have any problems in selling M and RS models, so at the moment it just seems a bit bland, and I think that's a shame because that's the really only problem with the car. Other things I would change with it, like I said, I get ultra picky now. I would maybe put sports springs on the car, Eibach sports springs or H&R sports springs, just to give it that extra layer of body control. Leave the dampers the same, absolutely. I don't want to completely destroy the car. And also just lower it a bit, make it look a bit sportier. If the car was getting a bit older, I think I'd probably put some polyurethane suspension bushes through the car, just to give it a little bit of extra edge to the steering, to the suspension. Obviously I'm going to pay the price for a little bit of extra harshness in the car, but honestly the car is so refined at the moment, I don't think a little bit of extra harshness is going to do any big damages, Other things, I would like to hear the exhaust more. It is a very quiet engine, and the thing that you can hear basically is the engine working away. There's not too much induction roll with it, and there's not, well, zero exhaust noise with it. So I wouldn't say no to a bit more exhaust noise with it. Would I fit a performance exhaust system? Probably not. I'll probably just want to fit an adjustable exhaust valve, just to bypass that last exhaust muffler, whatever they put at the end of the exhaust, or maybe put one up front after the first cat, maybe somewhere in the exhaust, just so I can hear a bit more engine noise. It is very refined, but I don't want to lose that. So an adjustable exhaust valve, I can make it quiet or loud as I want. That would be excellent. The throttle response, on some of these electronic cars, they say make the throttle adjustable. On this car, I don't think it's necessary. You've got a lot of travel on the throttle pedal, and the response of the pedal is very consistent, so you can learn to work with it, not like on some systems where it's adapting to how you drive. I don't get the impression that this Ford Mondeo is doing that. Maybe it is, but it's very well disguised if it is. The stereo in this car, as usual for Ford, for 20 years now, they've been putting very, very good sound systems in the car from the factory. This is no exception. I don't see the reason to do anything to this stereo. I think you have to spend a relatively high amount of money on speakers to improve the performance of the system that's already in the car from the factory. So great stereo, no compromises there really. High-speed stability on this car is a real plus. I've driven cars with electric power steering, and I find that even if you're traveling straight, you've always got to be making small corrections to the steering wheel to keep the car going in the direction that you want. In this car, I haven't noticed that at all. I have been able to just hold the steering wheel in the same position and the car will go. I don't need to make any corrections. So high-speed stability is great on this car. So that's it, guys. Basically, this is the review of the Ford Mondeo. Just a really, really competent car. For what it is, for what it's intended to do, it's great. You can't fault it, in my opinion. The only thing that lets it down in a way is the looks, but again, that is subjective. So that's my personal opinion. But as a car, it's very competent, and for what it's designed to do, it's perfect. I've got nothing else to say. They did a great job. There's nothing wrong with the car, and from me, that's the highest praise you can get. As always, guys, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching. It's appreciated every vote on the video, and if you subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely awesome. Look after yourself, and I'll see you again next time.